Fortunately, you and I are not going to be able to be here long today, as we're probably going to try to get 30 to 45 minutes in. But nevertheless, we are live. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? And I know that a lot of you, or at least some of you, or at least a vocal minority or vocal majority, whatever it is, I think it's a vocal minority, are a little upset with me after last night's conversation about the college football playoff, in which I would say I do not care. Actually, I do care, but then I don't care because I feel like in my bones, I am right. A lot of people in college football want the sport to be more geographical. Geographical to what sense? Well, then Lincoln Riley's got to get off his lazy rear end and start recruiting if you want California to be better. What blue blood do you want to be better outside of your own team? We're in an impasse in college football, man. The impasse in college football is simple to me. Just because the team's in another conference or a conference that is a little bit lower than the Big Ten and the SEC, I just don't believe that that gives you the justification to put those teams in the playoff. I've called it participation trophy syndrome. It is participation trophy syndrome. You cannot allow teams from other conferences and weak conferences that don't play relatively good teams to have weak schedules to get in there when teams have three. Oh, this team in the SEC or Big Ten has 3 losses. And what's your point? Wins and losses are not created equally, number one, and wins and losses do not determine how good or bad of a team you are. They don't. I give a high take. I think LSU beats SMU. I think they beat SMU. I don't know if they beat Boise. I feel like that they would beat Boise. I don't know if they could stop Ashton Genty, but that's a whole different question. I don't think that they could stop Garrett Nussmeier for what it's worth. I think that we, as I mentioned, we are at an impasse in college football. At an impasse. The simple nature that 2 commissioners would agree to only having 4 automatic bids when it should be at large. Who are the best teams? Is crazy to me. All right. Listen, we're not going to be here too long. Like I mentioned, we'll be here. We'll talk a little bit about football. Harold Perkins. Listen, we'll finish this week, have one more whole week, and then that following week. So not next week, but the following. Guess what we got on Saturday? We have spring football. Baby, we are back. Not like we really went anywhere, to be honest with you. We'll talk a little bit about football. I'll continue to talk about this team, some things that we hear, some things that we know, and some things that we want to push forward. So we'll talk a little bit about football. We'll preview a little bit of LSU baseball here as they go down to Thibodaux to take on Nicholls. I don't know what to say other than what we've seen and what we could and should expect. Does Jacob Myers make an appearance today against his former team will be a question that I have to ask. But 2 midweek games yesterday and today. Can you continue to stay hot? Jay Johnson meets with the media. We'll talk about that, what he thinks that he's seen through 4 games with his team. So we'll touch on that as well. And if we have time at the end, we'll get to hashtag Ask Blake. But yeah. Devin Stibe says Tigers versus Colonels, and doesn't even have an R in it. Get your popcorn ready, bub. Yeah, I mean, listen, I always love these midweek games when LSU plays an in-state opponent. I mean, we don't have a necessarily true rival. I love it. I'm sure that, listen, I graduated from Southeastern Louisiana. They will never say this, but the game is always packed when LSU comes to town, right? So when you go to Hammond, Louisiana, Thibodaux, Natchitoches, you go to Lafayette, that stadium's going to be packed. Not to say that it won't be packed for other reasons, but majority of the time it's because LSU's in town. Those schools want to turn their nose up to people that cover LSU or like LSU and grew up loving LSU. Yeah, you're not going to say it to anybody of their face. I mean, it's a team that you root for. Why? I'm rooting for a team in Southern. You're from Hammond. I'm not from Hammond. I'm not. So we'll preview a little bit of that. All right, let's get rolling here. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. I do apologize that we're going a little bit early, but the game's at 6:30. I got a lot of things going on around here. We'll be back tomorrow for the regular scheduled program tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. At least that is our hope here. All right, let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit of football. We'll preview LSU baseball. We'll get to some questions. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events, with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
We're back. All right. Let's get to it here. So LSU, not officially, but officially, made some news yesterday with Harold Perkins. And when I talked about this with Carter yesterday and what we've talked about with Harold Perkins at Star, we've talked about the edge presence. And the edge presence being that I think that you could look at that room with Pyburn, Butler, Peyton, Relaford, and what I would consider Perkins, even though he's a star safety, whatever position, slot, whatever you want to call it. I do think that LSU defensively could have an elite position on that side of the football. There are some other things that we have not discussed that I am very much looking forward to, I should say. Guys, after next week, we got spring football with LSU. March the 8th will be here before you know it. So next week, you'll go through next week. All right, sounds good. And then you're going to the following week, and then that Saturday, the build-up to spring football starts on March the 8th. Listen, a lot is going to be made about LSU along both lines of scrimmage. A lot of things are going to be made of the edge presence, as I have so much, and I'm really excited to see. We got to talk about the interior defensive line. Going into year 2 of Bo Davis, you bring in Sadir Mitchell. You have Don McKinley that's back. You have Jacoby and Guillory that's returning. Let's see his health and status. You bring in a lot of high school guys that you want to bring in here, mold and develop. Do any one of those give you the ability where they can be rotational pieces? Guys, the worry that I have for LSU football right now is that even though you went out in the portal and I think you did really well at the edge, my worry right now for them is how do you stop the run? How do you stop quarterbacks from running all over you? South Carolina comes in this building early into the season. You do have Florida and DJ Lagway. I know he's not really a runner, but you do have guys like Marcel Reed that are going to be there. Austin Simmons at Ole Miss. I mean, we haven't seen a lot from Austin Simmons at Ole Miss, which I would project to be the quarterback, the young lefty who reclassified, who led a drive against Georgia to really kind of start and open that game up for Ole Miss in that win. there are guys out there on your schedule that can really hurt you and really beat you with their legs. Are you going to allow them to do it this year? Guys, we have had such bad, underwhelming play along the defensive line when it comes to the running game. It's not even funny. It's not just them. It starts with them, but it's not just them. Linebackers have to be better. Safeties have got to be better. Guys, I don't know what else to say. I come out here every single day and people tell me over and over and over and over again that I'm being negative. But if we're looking at a defensive side of things, more than corner, more than safety, or not more than safety, but more than corner, more than edge, more than linebacker, and all these specific stuff. Guys, you win and lose championships with what you do in the interior of your defensive line. Can you be good enough there to stop the run and get offenses into predictable downs? Guys, we're a week away. Literally, the end of this week, we'll go to the next one, and it is here. Guys, there's no time to waste here. Then you'll go through spring, and then spring portal will open. What are we doing? Where are we at? I will continue to say this. People say that I'm always over dramatic and do whatever, say whatever. Here's the truth. The truth of the matter is, this is the most intriguing spring under Brian Kelly, and might be the most intriguing spring since I've covered this football team. Now, the Joe Burrow year in 2019, the Jayden Daniels year in 2023, yeah, those were special because you were seeing something special, and you knew that you were, at least I knew that I was seeing something special. Guys, I am tired of walking up against these SEC programs and teams lining up and running all over us. Bo Davis has got to get his money's worth this year. You got to get better play from your interior defensive line. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what you'll do with it. But you have a 5-star in Don McKinley that's there. You bring in Sadir Mitchell. Guys, quite frankly, you got to start getting after teams' ass. You got to start getting after teams' ass. I've made such a big to-do about the edge presence that we're not talking nearly enough about the offensive line, and we're not nearly talking enough about the interior defensive line. You look up and LSU's 8-4, 9-3 again, it's going to come on the backs of that your O-line did not perform well enough, your interior defensive line did not perform well enough. That is the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Oh, wait, that's not the line. That's the bottom line because reality says so. The games are won by the big hog mollies. They don't get the praise. They don't get the rewards. They don't get these big-ass trophies for individual stuff, even though some of them do. They're not the superstars. Name a team that sucked on either line of scrimmage that won anything of relevance. Name them. You won't, but try to. Please, dear Lord. Ultimately, what got Notre Dame beating a national title game? Well, their edge presence sucked. They kept running the ball right at them. And all up and down the field, patty smack left, patty smack right is what they kept calling. So we talked about the edge presence. I think that you can be borderline elite there with what you want to do. I'm very high on that position. But if that interior of that defensive line is not better at creating havoc in the backfield, not allowing guards and centers to get to the second level to guys like Whit Weeks and Donovan Keys, it ain't going to mean shit. It won't mean a Rudy Poo thing. You are at a position in time under Brian Kelly. There are no more excuses. There is no excuse. LSU is not a place where you put a team on the field that gets pushed around. It just isn't. So when I came out yesterday and I came out 2 weeks ago and I talked about the borderline elite edge play that I think that you can get, don't make the positivity that you think that I had there distract you from your interior defensive line got pushed around at the end of the season. Pushed around like a baby in a stroller on a fall or spring afternoon in the middle of Manhattan Park. You got pushed around. there are going to be a lot of new things defensively. Nothing is more important than safety play, and we've talked about that a lot, because you got to get back to being better defensively up front. You brought in 4 defensive linemen. Basically, what you're saying by your actions is that you weren't good enough. No, you're right. You weren't. You were a Duke of water last year. Dookie water was better than you at moments and times. You cannot allow A&M to come off in this hole and push you around. You paid for the coaches. You paid in NIL. Now it's time to go get wins. Zach Nagy, the passion in Bro's voice is immaculate. This is true. Zach Nagy, Sports Illustrated in the building. He's completely correct. I'm screenshotting this and putting it up in my office. We got a presence from Zach Nagy. Harold, back to this though. Harold Perkins moving out to Star means nothing to me. Means nothing. Because the issues that you have, you didn't have an issue with getting after the passer. You had an issue with stopping the run. You had an issue with getting pushed around. You know, I heard from all of you during the season that LSU defensively got better without Perkins. You're an idiot. A team came up in Death Valley and ran 311 yards on you. You're an idiot. Guys, I'm telling you, the interior of the offensive line this spring, you're a week away, you're 13 days away, whatever it is, 14, 15 days, 16 days, whatever it is. I am to a spot right now where you brought in interior offensive linemen with Josh Thompson, Braylon Moore, etc. When they go to run game drills, nothing is more important. Because you have a team that couldn't run the ball, you went in the portal. And you have a team that couldn't stop the run with the interior defensive line, you went in the portal. Who's going to start winning that battle? Do we know what we have there? Will we know what we have there? So I feel great about Pat Payton. I feel really good at the pressure that you're going to send from the star position with Harold Perkins. I love Jack Pyburn. Jamari Butler is one of the most elusive interior defensive linemen that we will see. He will be really good for you. The problem will be, can you stop the run? I'm not going to throw statistics at you anymore. I'm not going to throw any more excuses at you anymore. That is just a reality. So you can come off in this Twitter or in this YouTube channel. You can come off in Facebook. You can go wherever on the audio podcast. You can clip it. You can say whatever you want. If you continue to allow teams to do what they've been doing to your interior defensive line, you will not go anywhere. Your goal is the playoff. You're not going to come close to making it. And if you do, you got to be special in an area like a quarterback. You're not going to go anywhere because you're going to go on the road against these tough teams in the SEC. They're going to try to establish the run on you. Everybody knows it's your biggest weakness. They're going to try to take it to you. Week 1, Clemson is going to try to take it to you. By the way, speaking of the O-line, Sammy Brown, Clemson, middle linebacker, freak. Can you block him? Peter Woods, can you block him? I know a lot of you freaked out because I said we're going to have elite in exterior or edge presence. I think you will. That will go away very quickly if teams just line up and run the ball on you. LSU fan Blake, did Bama not do the same thing when he was playing against Bama last year? I don't know. I don't understand your question. What does that mean? Blake, did Bama not do the same thing when he was playing against Bama last year? I have no idea what that means. If it's about Perkins, Perkins didn't play against Bama last year. If you're talking about 2 years ago, y'all wanted Perkins to spy. Let me say it like this. Do you think it's all on Harold Perkins that you got run. Look, Harold Perkins was in 23. Harold Perkins was out of 23. It got worse when he wasn't there. Think about that. It got worse without Harold Perkins. Saban wasn't there anymore either, with a lesser team. It got worse. Bama ran more on you with a worse team, and Perkins wasn't there. Guys, I'm telling you right now, you're not good enough right now in your interior defensive line. That room has got to pick that shit up. I don't think you expected me to come out here and take the gloves off and get to swinging, but it's the truth. Because when I come out here and say borderline, like elite level edge presence, all you hear is me say, oh, Blake said we're going to the playoff. I ain't say that shit. What I said is that you can't get after the passer, and you're going to get after the passer. The tackles at LSU this year, spring, fall camp, they're going to have their hands full. I fully expect these guys to get their asses whooped, especially early. What does Josh Thompson look like? Are you running the football on him? Now, you ran the football against LSU defensively in fall camp. Well, I don't know. What I do know is this. Guys, I'm tired of sucking on defense. I've seen you be elite under Brian Kelly offensively. I'm tired of getting walked all over. No bigger position starts with the interior defensive line. I got tattooed by y'all on this. Oh, Blake said we're going to the playoff. I never said that. Chris Phillips over at SEC Unfiltered says, got to know your thoughts on UJ's pitcher's antics last night. Your friend, Chris. All right. In case you missed it, Chris posted this on Twitter. But I was on the phone with Chris, and we were watching the Georgia-Kennesaw State game last night before we get out of here. We'll preview a little bit of baseball, and then we'll get out of here. Curley, the pitcher for Georgia, goes in the stretch, and he looks at the runner on second, gives him a little lick like this, sends a hook, strike three, ball game over. Here are my thoughts. If any man looks at me and starts giving me the lizard, number one, I think the entire stadium is going to be startled. But number two, that guy's not making it on the bus. That's what I think. Number two, the swag that Curley has, that he just kind of put his nuts down and just said, I'm going to do what I want. I throw 100. I'm going to give you a bender that you're not ready for, and I'm going to get out of here on a Tuesday night. I mean, the man gave him a lick of lizard. No way. First off, Chris, here's the ultimate thing too. Pause. Anytime a man licks towards another man, that's a pause-worthy thing. Anyway, they weren't going to stop them, Blake. LSU fan, why aren't they going to stop him? You're saying that LSU, you're coming in here. So people on the audio, we're just kind of rambling and talking. Why weren't they going to stop him? I think you're defending the point that you've probably made on here or wherever, that this defense LSU had last year got worse with got better with Harold Perkins. No, it didn't. Statistically, it got drastically worse. It got tons worse. Anyway, Doug Ray says, throwing haymakers today. Blake woke up and chose violence today. Doug, here's all I know, man. Here's all I know. Like, I got tattooed by this yesterday on social media and in here. What I'm saying is, if you think that Perkins or anybody on this team is going to be better at defending the run, that won't, like, the biggest unit that has to take the next step is your interior defensive line, bud. Like, are we that naive? Like, are we that naive to think that you can continue to have that level of play in the interior defensive line, and we think to ourselves that things are going to be different? Y'all get so on Harold Perkins and praise Whit Weeks for what? Let's turn on that A&M game. Let's turn it on. Let's turn on Bama. Let's turn on Florida. Shit was bad. I can turn on South Carolina, though. Guys, you got to get bigger, stronger, faster. You got to get stronger. That's for damn sure. You can't keep playing soft. That's my ultimate worry. No, I do not have any eligibility left. Travis says you're clip farming. Travis, you never run a successful business a day in your life, and you're telling me what I'm doing. I have 45 minutes to do a show today. 45. I'm clip farming. Okay. Well, how about this? When you have a business that you run and that you start that's actually successful, then you can come talk to me about clickbaity. By the way, I see LSU headlines all day long, and y'all call me clickbaity. What a fucking joke. All right. Let's preview a little bit of LSU baseball. I do have to get out of here. Listen, I don't know what to expect from LSU baseball tonight other than what we've been seeing. I hope just for narrative content's sake, if I am clip farming or that's what I'm doing, I do hope to see Jacob Myers tonight. Jay Johnson came out yesterday in his postgame and stated that he thought the first time through the order, which we talked about yesterday, he didn't necessarily think it was great. It wasn't. But he said he saw something that LSU had 18 straight quality at-bats, and regardless against the opponent, that is elite. I agree with him. Take it to these lesser opponents. Keep taking it to them. I don't think that you fully know or we fully know what this team we don't know what this team is fully capable of. Teams are not going to be allowed to, in my humble opinion, throw around Jared Jones. Guys, Jared Jones hit a line drive into center field that left the bat at 109 miles an hour. It's one of the best pitches that he saw. Okay, he hit it right at a guy. I don't know what you do there. Somebody in that lineup's got to protect him. I think we'll start seeing soon what you know in the next 2 weeks, you're going to really start seeing what this team looks like, how they're going to be developed, how they're going to continue to run things out there. You got a lot of talent. Tonight, you go on the road for the first time this season. You go into what will be a hostile environment. And look, when you go on the road to these mid-major programs in the state of Louisiana and your LSU, you are their Super Bowl. If anybody at LSU needs to know, just ask Jacob Myers, who, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, started 2 years ago, and when Nicholls beat you in the midweek, control what you can control. Do what you need to do to be able to perform and take it to the next level. Take it to him, man. No, take it to him. You pad your stats in these series, man. This is where you pad your stats. I don't know a lot about Nicholls. It's going to be easy to see. I think defensively, the biggest thing, there's not been a lot of balls put in play. So, I mean, I thought Braswell made a good play at third the other day. Chris Stanfield continues to be very good. You continue to hit and be very streaky. I think that's the way that I would put it. First time through the lineup, things have been shaky. So what? Second time through, you've been killing the baseball. I don't know what else to ask from this team right now. So going into this game, going into this situation, going against this opponent, here's what I'd say as we get out of here today. I would say this. I kind of want to see this team hit some adversity. Might not happen tonight. Might happen this weekend. I don't know when it's going to hit. I want to see him go through adversity. I want to see him get in the 4-2 game and see what Georgia did last night. Their coach gets tossed. They're in a battle with probably a team in Kennesaw State that could – look, we played Kennesaw State, 2 or 3 years ago in a regional, twice. They're a scrappy bunch of players, man. Let's get some adversity and see what this team's made of. I hope we can get that a little bit tonight. And if we don't, that just continues to show how dominant you can be against these opponents. All right. I do got to run. I do got to get out of here. I'm sorry. We may try to do a post game. That's why we're kind of getting in and out of here. We'll see about that. But you never know. All right. Until tonight or tomorrow, we'll see y'all soon, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.